So, peace and blessings, brothers and sisters of Aquabo, aka Show Special, here at Radio Diamond TV. Bring it to you the best of ourselves, bring it to you love, bring it to you unity. So, brothers and sisters from all over the world, we totally live. I want you to share this message. Remember, we give it to you audibly and visually. Share this message. We are everywhere. Remember, this is a spiritual show. Ain't nothing to do with emotion. This is a spiritual show. This is our parliament. This is our village. Remember, this is about our ancestors. This is about black on black only. At this time, at Radio Diamond TV. So, as we always recommend, brothers in Jamaica, I want you to press play. We're totally live. We are totally live. So brothers in Jamaica, I want you to press play real quick on this one. Brothers in the UK, I want you to press play on this one. Brothers in the United States, all states, I want you to play. Just press play on this one. Moving to the continent, the 50 states, I want you to press play. I don't want to mention countries. At times people get hard on me when I forget to mention shout out the country. So shout out to send a message to everybody around the world. And this is a private conversation. Remember, don't tell MI5 yet. Don't tell FBI yet. Don't tell CIA yet. Don't tell this white supremacy yet, because this is just a family. Then after the show done, we can all send them the links. And remember, we're shooting everywhere around the world. So as we're beginning, today 1 minute show or 1 minute silence is specifically of one great son of Africa. Because remember, no, two great sons of Africa, because they both share the same spirit. Share the same spirit. So that's why what you're about to see is our great beloved warrior, our great beloved son of Africa, John Pombe Magufuli. This is a 1 minute silence specifically just dedicated for this great son that Africa ever had. And then he embraced the spirit of Julius Nyerere. Tanzania. This is a 1 minute silence for our Tanzanian brothers and sisters. Don't do anything. Stay there. Don't go anywhere. Don't do anything. At this particular time, it's a black on black conversation. I'll be right back. 1 minute silence. Again, I want you to sink in this message and remember this name. John Pombe Magufuli. Long live Black Power and rest in power. So that is why we open up this 1 minute silence. So remember, when we bring our elder, we cannot do anything to ask the elder. I'm the young in this conversation. He's the elder. And that is why we're going to be beginning off, making sure everything is okay, set. Make sure everything is set. Again, I've seen people calling already. Don't call yet. You stay there. Please don't call yet. So just share the message. I know we're streaming this all over the world. So the elder is going to be coming from time to time to share his thoughts about the political situation that is happening in the United States, the political atmosphere that is happening in Africa. Because remember, he's well articulate. He knows the politics inside out of the United States and in the continent. And that is why we don't want to mention the name yet. You will see by yourself with his powerful voice. To you, brothers and sisters, kings and queens, soldiers and rebels, if you don't share this message, I'll voodoo you. Now, in love, I'm just kidding. Voodoo in love. We're going to send you a voodoo to you if you don't share this message. So we're going to be asking the elder to open up the conversation. And if you want to open, start open remarks. The floor is yours, elder.
I bid you all grand rising, wherever you are in the world. I bid you shalom. I bid you hotep. I bid you peace and blessing. I bid you greetings in whatever form makes you feel comfortable that you have entered into a place where the ancestors can speak to you and you can receive it as it should be delivered. I greet you and I welcome you to this open discussion this morning across the diaspora, around the world, in the UK, Africa, the United States, South America, the Caribbean, those folks in Canada, and now it appears even some folks in Asia. We welcome you to the discussion this morning. I am the Grand Master J. By now you don't know my voice, then apparently you're not one of his children, because only his children hear his voice when it's delivered by one of his messengers. You can live in denial all you want, but I didn't come here to manage your emotions. I came here to participate in a conversation that is relevant, not just where you are, but is manifesting itself all over the world in one way, shape, form, or fashion, where we have to realize the time has arrived for all of us, not some of us, not a few of us, and not in our own way, but all of us collectively to get on code and to get on the same page and get over yourselves, get over your emotions, remove your hang-ups, stop crying about what happened in the past if you're not going to do anything about the future. Put all of that outside. Come on in and sit with the family if you're still a member, because that's what we come to discuss. I give clearance to open this discussion with Brother Alpha. I also have to say that we cannot move forward unless your mind is fixated on the fact that you're living in a season right now that each and every person who tells the truth, each and every person who stands up to power, each and every person who voices an opinion that goes against the status quo is still being dealt with the same way. We either die, or we either are jailed, or we either are exiled and discredited by the very people that we're trying to tell you the truth about, by the very people that we're trying to tell the truth to, and that would be you. So no matter where you sit on the globe, you are part of this diaspora. So therefore, you're part of this conversation. The great leader himself who left The person that was standing up to power, the very person who refused to play along with the rest of the gang and use the people as stepping stones to greed, corruption, genocide, and political shenanigans that contradict everything that they've already said that they stand for. This great man, President John Magufuli, gone much too soon. The news being announced, and then seeing the Vice President Samia Hassan step into that role and hopefully carry on the torch, does not take away from the fact, not who he was, but what he was doing that made him a target. Y'all ain't got to say it. I'll say it this morning right here on Black Diamond. There's some things we need to talk about in the house that if we don't clean up, nobody's going to clean it up, and they going to keep on throwing dirt through the window into our house. We just had some dirt thrown in our house, and y'all act like you don't see. In the United States, they contradicting the very laws that they put down supposedly back in 1965 so that you could vote. Well, they roll it back contradicting themselves. What you're talking about. I heard in some places, or we got a situation where the Chinese are trying to actually blackmail Kenya so that they can take over a port, because the way you invade a nation, you have to have a port to come into. You have to have a landing strip to get onto. You have to have a base of operations. Oh, there's a lot going on in the world. There's many different ones doing it, but there's only one of us. So I just came to hang out with y'all just a little bit this morning. I hope y'all don't mind. We're going to sit here on Black Diamond Radio. I came to talk about integration versus separation. But if you notice every time, watch how this all ties back together. We're going to get into it. How the death of the Tanzanian president, the federal cases of the Grandmaster Jay, the arresting of the representative down in Georgia while the governor was signing the bill, the putting the police officer on trial for the killing of George Floyd and how it's being handled as opposed to other situations. All of these are going to tie back together. If I had to put a name on this discussion this morning, it would be, I want you to do as I say and ignore what I do. Brother Alfred will give the floor back to you so that you can set the stage, but I welcome you and I welcome everybody. Please, let us begin this discussion.
So, brothers and sisters all over the world, as you see the open remark, so I want you to share the, look, don't be out here telling that you don't see what we're talking about here. Remember, when we design our topics, it's specifically of what is happening now to our family worldwide. So, brothers and sisters, let me ask you something. You, brothers and sisters over there, still hanging around with Black Lives Matters, still want to sit down to some restaurants, still be out there talking about Rainbow Cola, Rainbow Coalition, Rainbow this, Rainbow that. You out there talking about we are one. You out there. Let me ask you this question. And you out there. Separation. Separation or integration. Which one you support? I repeat. Separation or integration. Which one are you support? Let's just understand. Because at times we just need a space for ourselves. When our brothers, when our elders, I don't like to call brothers, when our elders, bring back my camera, when our elders trying to separate themselves to this cabal, this system, what they're doing, they use one of us to assassinate. Just ask this elder that you can see in your screen. When Brother Malcolm was simply saying we need to have our own thing, our own state. We need to love ourselves. We need a space just so we can learn and fix ourselves, love ourselves. They use some of us to do the job. When Patrice Lumumba step into the plate, challenge the Congo, the French and the Belgians. What they did, they used one of us to get rid of. When Brother Gaddafi step up and say, no, we're gonna have to have one currency. We're gonna have to empower our community, empower our continent. Even to the point that Libya was way better in terms of the system. They assassinated him. French, Belgium, United States government, Britain, everybody came together to assassinate him using our own people. Now, let me ask you a question now. You see right there in your screen, this screen here that you can see, John Pombe Magufuli, he stepped up. He said, I'm not going to shut down my country. He said, no, I'm going to use my herbs to kill my people. Since you're talking about this COVID, okay, great. We don't need no vaccine from you. We're going to use our herbs. We're going to use our food. We're not going to shut down our border because Tanzania share border with almost 8 countries in Africa. If you shut Tanzania's border, you're going to starve in the neighbor's country. You're going to starve in Mozambique. You're going to starve in Kenya. He said, nah, I'm not going to shut down. If you want to play your COVID, you play on your corner. We're going to do ourselves. What they did is, don't you come talking about conspiracy theory. Don't do that. I don't want to say anything, but they have something to do with that. So that is why we're bringing this conversation. And that is why we're bringing the elder to analyze this situation with you. Because he also tried. He tried to say, you can work together. He tried. He went to the system. He went to the military. He tried. Don't you believe me? Watch this video. Him first being a presidential candidate. Before you told me. Because at times, you know, what you like to do, you like to assassinate our elder's character. So I want you to see the video of him first try to be the presidential candidate in the United States. Don't go anywhere, just watch this video. 1 second. Only about a minute. Just so you see for yourself. Presidential candidate 2016. Watch this.
Relations in America. I believe we need to reform policing in America. I believe we should require American-based companies to bring their jobs home and hire Americans. I believe we need to take care of all veterans. I believe we need to fix the student loan debt crisis. I believe we need to end the war on terror and lead an effort for world peace. I believe we should make those already in this country illegally into tax-paying citizens. I believe we need to reform or abolish the tax system. I believe in women's equality. These are the things I would change if I were elected president. Now, do you see why the media has ignored candidates like me? Go to http://www.onlywecanfixus.com today and add your name. Write in John Fitzgerald Johnson and let's fix it now.
You see that? He tried. He said, nah, I think we can mingle, we can walk together. Agree to disagree. But then they still failed to listen. They didn't listen to these people. He really tried. Then you see the other side of him. I want you to pay attention. This is a reset now that I want you to pay attention. Because now, even the white media talking about it. Since you black folk over there too busy trying to pound it on everybody, too busy trying to slander on everybody, he's out there building something that's scaring the white power structure. Watch this so you understand what we're talking about. Don't go nowhere. This is another couple of more minutes video. So before we bring him on, watch this video. NSBC report NFAC. Watch this real quick. I'll bring you right back. It's about 4 minutes. I really need you to get this. You saw the side of him being a presidential candidate in 2016. Now, I want you to roll this tape.
NFAC, an armed all-black militia. You might have seen it protest in Georgia, Kentucky, and Washington, D.C. Their stated goal, to defend the black community by any means necessary. NBC's Morgan Radford is in Atlanta. And Morgan, I know you talked to the leader of the NFAC. You got a rare look inside this movement as it tries to expand. What'd you find out?
Well, Craig, we found out that for them, this is ultimately about protection. They say that, especially during the Trump administration, they felt like the government and law enforcement simply did not do enough to protect black people in this country. And so they said they're taking matters into their own hands. But what's fascinating is that this is a movement that is growing. According to the NFAC, they say they now have chapters in nearly every single state, and they also have some chapters internationally. So we decided to embed with them for a day and see exactly how they do what they do and why many of their members say they joined. Take a listen.
The sounds of war right here at home. This is the NFAC, an all-black militia with a mission to defend the black community by any means necessary.
So this is training for one of the new chapters.
Yes. Appearing by the hundreds at protests from Stone Mountain, Georgia to Louisville, Kentucky, demanding justice for police killings and countering what they believe is the threat of right-wing militias. It's a movement started in 2017 by this man, former musician and Army veteran John Grandmaster J. Johnson.
Is the movement growing?
By leaps and bounds.
We met with him outside of Cincinnati, where he says another new chapter is now in the works.
The NFAC stands for the Not Effing Around Coalition.
What's behind the name?
The NFAC was born out of the last 4 years under the Trump administration. The deterioration of racial relations in this country. It means that you're preparing yourself to defend yourselves.
While the group's style echoes the Black Panther Party of the 1960s, their goals are distinct, focusing on defense with the ultimate goal of a black ethno-state.
What makes us so different is that our goal is our own government.
Oh, just stop for a second. Stop for a second, just before I continue rolling the tape. This camera right here. Black ethno-state. Do you see what we're going to now? Because you're going to have to pick a side now. Are you wanting to integrate? Are you still want to sit down in the same restaurant? Are you still want to march with them? I'm asking you out there, you. Are you still want to sit down with them, marching with them? Or you just want to have your own states. You can control your economy. You can control your health system. You can control your military system. Then once you fix yourself, then you can say, look, we can partner. We can do business. No problem. I'm controlling my resources. I know what I'm doing. I'm not puppet no more. I can control my system. That's what we're talking about here. Because that's just what the Arab do. They gather themselves. That's what the Jews do. They gather themselves. That is why we're bringing this conversation to you. Give me this camera here. You see? Keep sharing the message. Keep going. So roll the tape, Brother Kwame. Roll the tape.
Our own future.
Is violence an option to reach your goals?
The United States was built on violence being an option. Violence should be the last option.
Extremism experts say the group is distinct from far-right militias.
They have not risen to the level of concern of, say, the Three Percenters, the Oath Keepers. They have not engaged in violence. In fact, in most of their demonstrations, they have in fact coordinated their activities with police.
When you talk about January 6th, and we saw those rioters storm the Capitol, what do you say to critics who say you're no different from them? They're extremists, you're extremists.
Show me
where we have done those things. They've killed people. They've disrespected the government to the point where they have invaded its sacred halls. Show me where we've done those things, because we have done none of them.
We were allowed rare access to one of their training.
Just one more second, you see? They're violent, that's what they do. They're going out there overthrowing governments if you don't agree with them. That's what they do. Then they're going to turn around and say, oh, you extremists, oh, you too black, you too violent. Meanwhile, that's what they've been doing in Africa. That's what they've been doing when you don't agree with them. So be careful. Roll the tape again.
Georgia.
We are now driving to the NFAC training facility.
We spoke to one member who chose to go by the code name Shy to protect her anonymity.
This one is the handgun.
Correct, yes.
And then what do you guys do next?
We are going to the area where we practice our primary weapons firing.
Why did you decide to join this movement?
It's for the cause. Black people, we need to learn how to defend it. This is definitely one way to do it.
Do you all, have normal jobs? You work in all different sectors? And
absolutely. We're business owners, we're doctors, lawyers, we're your everyday person, anywhere from Walmart to the corporate sector.
What are you all training for?
We're training for self-defense.
A response to show they won't be scared or unprotected any longer.
Craig, it's important to note that the NFAC does not have any history of any violent crimes, but it's also important to note that Grandmaster Jay, the leader of that group, is facing federal indictment charges. Authorities allege that he pointed a rifle towards police officers during that demonstration last September in support of Breonna Taylor. He pleaded not guilty, and that case is still ongoing, Craig.
Hey, Morgan, what about the FBI? Has the FBI looked into this particular group at all?
That's a great question, Craig. We reached out to the FBI and they said they are not looking into this group specifically. Instead, they focused on groups and people who have actually committed crimes, not on specific members with specific ideologies. Craig?
Exactly. So we're in now. So, as you can see, brothers and sisters, I think he has some more to say. I don't know if he has some more to say.
See, Morgan, do keep us posted.
Anyway, I think it's enough. Thanks for NSBC to lend us this quick tape. That's why we invite the elder, the commander-in-chief, the supreme commander of the NFAC, to be able to break it down. Separation or integration? Which one do you support? Pick a side. Which one do you support? Black family all over the world. Separation or integration? Don't you just want to be having your own organization, do your own thing amongst your own people? Don't have these nosy people trying to find out what you're doing? Don't you just want to be with your own self, loving your own kind? Don't you want to be around our great sisters? You see that? There's sisters stepping up. You saw that. Stepping up on the plate. Why are you afraid of? If they had power, let me tell you something. If they went out in Tanzania and then caused harm to this president that had all the military protection, if they came out and, as you can see in your picture, if they came out and did all this harm to these great sons of Africa that you can see in your screen. You see that in your screen. I'm not lying to you. If they did that, now the question to you, what are you afraid of? You here in the UK, what are you afraid of? In the United States, Brazil, all these countries, Jamaica, Africa, what are you afraid of? Why are you afraid to put your boots on the ground? Why? Because remember, you're walking with your ancestors. You're not walking alone. You got the energy of your ancestors. That's why we're bringing up this show, and that's my open remarks to you. So, one more time, remember, Radio Diamond, you can listen in your car here in the UK. You can go to the Facebook, Alpha Quabo or Radio Diamond, we're there. Nobody gonna lie to you. Also, as we speak, we have brothers and sisters recording the show all over Africa. Yes, because we give it to you all you visually, and we'll beat you in your own game, so you understand what we're talking about here. We don't care about no BBC no more. We're doing ourselves. So the open remarks are already open, started. So you're gonna hear. We're gonna be having interview. Obviously, the elder analyzes point, the internal politics in the United States and the foreign politics. Focus on the African continent. Focus on unity. And we're also going to talking about, I need you to promote this before I bring the elder. We're also going to talk about why it's important for this one here. Black on black formation. I want you to save this date. 10 April 2021. Because group of individuals, group of soldiers and rebels, they will blackanize London. I repeat, they will blackanize London. So we begin with the elder here. Let me just make sure now that we give our open remarks. Talk to us a little bit, without further ado, about the current situation with your charges, because we know brothers and sisters been standing solidarity with you all over the world, and brothers and sisters just want a quick update of the current situation with your charges that obviously injustice being put against you, and then we are demanding to be dropped. So how's the current situation with the charges, real quick, Elder Grandmaster Jay?
I am not going to go into details on the current status of my case for obvious reasons, legal reasons as well. Things I say can still be used against me, but it is of no secret to anyone who has been following my case that 4 of the 5 federal charges that I was accused of, they were dropped, which raised a very interesting question. What happened? Did 5 cops suddenly become 1? We don't want to get into that. We just want to let you know that 4 were kicked out and 1 was held on to. And that is the one that I'm still dealing with. There still is a discussion that's going on right now between the Department of Justice and my legal team. As we try to resolve this. It took time to get in, it's going to take time to get out, but I will tell you right now, the state of Kentucky, on the other hand, which has been leaning independent on the federal case, because there are 2 cases, was kind of thrown for a loop. Put in the one sense, the sister said we have no record of violence, that we've never done anything wrong. You've heard the guy from DePaul University say that past experience has shown that this organization has always coordinated with not just the police, the leadership of those cities, so that we would not end up being treated as the enemy.
Download now our app. Tune to Radio Diamond. We are global. We are on your phone, tablet, computer, and Android.
I'm reloaded!
Radio Diamond.
Tell them once, I'ma tell them twice. Radio Diamond are the people's choice. With program like this every day and night, we have to go down in a history. Yo, this is Radio Diamond, .co.uk. Log on, keep the link. Click, 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 click.
All they want it to be. They're controlling you with an idea.
Tell them once, I'ma tell them twice. Radio Diamond are the people's choice. With program like this every day and night, we have to go down in our history. Yo, this is Radio Diamond. .co.uk. Log on, keep the link. Click, 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 click.
All they wanted to be. They're controlling you with an idea. You asked me about whether or not the Biden administration was going to turn around and start having conversations with the governments that are in place in Africa, half of which are puppet regimes of the UK and France. Are you out of your mind? Why would they do that? Matter of fact, you don't teach your enemy how to stand up. You teach your enemy how to walk on a leash. You don't give your enemy the tools to empower them. Let me tell you why. They're so afraid of separation. We as a people have a habit, pardon my language. If you leave us alone, leave us to our own devices, we will get our collective shit together. We did it before, we'll do it again.
So
when we were separated, we built our own community, had our own banking system, had our own police force. We had our own society, good and bad like anybody else. And we were fine. It's just that when other races saw that, you know the race whose backs you rolled on to get great, when you saw that they were going to be greater than you, when you saw you're going to have to do business with them the same way you do business with everybody else. The only difference is everybody else that you're doing business with, you don't owe them an apology. You don't owe them reparations. You don't owe them a restoration. You don't owe them repatriation. You don't owe them anything. Because they, pardon me, because they was in on the heist like you was. So all of a sudden, you see you got to do business with them. You have to respect them. And at some point, you have to atone for what you've done. So don't sit here and fool yourself that after years, centuries, eons of doing that, that all of a sudden they want integration. You must be out your rabbit mind. You can't integrate with something unless you exist separately to start with. I'm going to come in your house, rape, rob, and pillage and take everything. Erase your family history. Give you my name. Tell you that everything in your house is mine. That you can't have none unless I say so. That you can't walk, talk, or do anything unless I say so and how much. As a matter of fact, if you do it too well, I'm just going to change the laws and make you do it a different way. At the end of the day, what I have done is I reduced you to property. Now I want you to go along and get along. And that's the integration piece. When you integrate something into your system, it becomes a part of you. It does not become beneath you. It is equal to you. And that hasn't happened yet. There's no integration. The white population has dominated this planet and continues to dominate it at the expense of the melanated people. In so many different ways. I would be here for the next 28 hours trying to tell you. You don't have to like what I'm saying. It's the truth. Deal with it. And at some point, we got to stop being cowards as a people. Stop hiding behind flags. Stop hiding behind borders that they drew for you. We're still the same. I guarantee you. If whatever it was that came down over Oregon the other day, or whatever it was that flew over the UK the other night, or whatever it was that shook the Midwest about 2 o'clock this morning, if any of that turns out to be the end of this world, all of a sudden ain't nobody gonna care about a border, a flag, or skin color, or nothing else. Maybe that's what it's gonna take. Because the shooting down of black men in America at the hands of police don't seem to do it. The genocide that's being committed against the folks in Ethiopia ain't gonna seem to do it. Is the continued atrocities in Nigeria doesn't seem to do it. As a matter of fact, it doesn't appear that any place where melanated people are being murdered, kidnapped, raped, or moved in sex trafficking just doesn't seem to make a difference in 2021. So how can you sit here and talk to me about integration? How can you sit here when you won't even let me separate to get myself together? We as a people need to separate, not this because we're a warrior caste that we gon' see. They so scared we gonna come back and do something to them that they don't even want to let us get in the corner to get ourselves together. But you have to ask yourself a question, no matter where you are in the world, listening to Black Diamond Radio or listening to Grandmaster Jay right now. I mean, let's go ahead and keep it a buck, as they say on the street. Do you think they deserve it? You see, when you want to apologize to something, you deserve it. When you won't repay or equalize the playing field, you deserve it. When you are hypocritical, you write a law that says nothing will infringe, nothing can abridge, nothing. But then you turn around and actually do it. The girl was knocking on the door, Alpha, because the governor was signing a bill that was rolling stuff back to the 60s. And they arrested her for knocking on the door. Yet these people climbed over the walls, climbed through the windows, put doo-doo on the walls, killed people, hit somebody with a fire extinguisher, stole a laptop, had a good old time. But, you know. Do I have to fill it in for you? How much longer are y'all gonna talk about? How much longer are y'all gonna have round tables that don't go nowhere? How much longer are y'all gonna sit around and worry about who's in the spotlight? How much longer are you gonna keep sitting on your ass collectively as a people and not get off of it and do something and not be afraid of the repercussions? The only reason, my brother, that I still have a case, the only reason that I'm still being kept quiet by the U.S. government, the only reason that you don't hear them lifting up the deceased president, like they would, let's say, if the president of France passed away. The reason you don't see that is because I'm saying one thing, but I'm speaking with a forked tongue, like I always have. And you black folks keep falling for it time and time again. That's what he's saying to you. And until you do something different, he's gonna keep giving you the same thing over and over again, and then have the audacity to ask you why you don't want to integrate. He's trying to make you feel bad because you won't play his game. Guilt tripping you. So the politics of the world today are nothing more than symptoms of a bigger problem. The situations that are going on internationally with the vaccine are symptoms of a bigger problem. The injustices that you're seeing happening here in the United States are still. Let me hit y'all to something that y'all don't know. You probably don't know. Before the mass shootings, everybody was talking about the CNN interview with the queen and, you know, the princess, and how she came out and was telling everybody that, you know, that there's some real racism going on up there in the palace. Exposed it. The whole world was all up in it. Was the baby gonna be too dark? It was looking real bad. It was looking real bad. Then somebody got shot over here in the States. Yeah. You got some shootings that took place. All of this is going down. But what you fail to realize is they're doing the same thing to the new vice president. Quiet over here in the United States. Oh, y'all ain't heard yet? You know, all you sisters that voted for the VP because she counted on y'all for the black vote. See, that's another thing. They keep taking your political power. Then once they get it, they don't give a damn about you. Oh, they quietly giving her the game too. She ain't even moved into the house yet. Nah, she can't move into the VP house yet. She living out of suitcase. Quiet. I know she's probably having moments where she's like, that ain't what they said. They said if I became the vice president, I was gonna listen. I was there, yeah. And you fell for the okie doke. You thought you were playing them, they played you. That's what they do to all societies. That's what they're doing right now. I like what you said. To hell with the BBC. We'll get on here, we'll get on our own TV program and talk about it. And that's what y'all have got to start doing. You got to do more than just talk about it. On April the 10th, the Black on Black formation in the UK, you see, you get over your differences. I'm glad to see that. Now you can speak to power collectively. That's the other thing that we're not doing, people. We ain't doing none collectively. Like Alpha said, a lot of y'all, you think you can do it yourself. You think just because somebody opened the door, you can run through it. The door was open for everybody, together. You understand now that the very people that you keep trying to integrate with are the very people who shut down every attempt that you take to unify yourselves. And if you can't see that, then you're part of the problem. I yield the floor back to you, Al.
Wow. Brothers and sisters, let me tell you something, what is happening right now. So they're trying to send waves into our system in order to stop doing what we're doing. They think we're clever. They think they're clever. Brothers and sisters, as I'm speaking to you right now, let me tell you what's happening. We're recording. We're having the second recording of this show. So they're sending waves to our program. So it keeps going on and off again. But on the radio, since we are part of the radio too, we're not saying anything. Go to the radio. It's there live. It's there. Audibly with live. I'm recorded. So I'm brothers and sisters streaming. But if you're on social network, you will see the image going on and off. And then you clearly see they're trying to say something on here to disrupt the conversation. So, but share the message. We will put the message, the video together, because when it cuts off, it'll open up another one. When it cuts off, it'll open up another one. Then we will join together. Share the message, brother. I know what they're trying to do. We're smart on that. We understand the game. So, as Supreme Commander, real quick, of the NFAC, talking about the WHO, we know about one of the reasons. They locking the people at home is just so everybody around the world, presidents, ministers, church leaders, follow the same order. What is your stand about the WHO? Because they are the one who work alongside this pharmaceutical company to really blackmailing everybody that doesn't go according with their agenda. What is your take? And do you reckon it's maybe the reason, or not maybe, is one of the reasons they got all the African leaders in their pocket? Whoever stepped out of that cabal, it's get assassinated. What is your take of this situation, Supreme Commander of NFAC, Grandmaster Jenny?
First of all, you have to understand that the WHO is nothing more than another part, the structure in a pyramid. The very top of that pyramid are the bankers. The bankers control everything. The entire business behind this vaccine is money. The entire project is driven by money, the pharmaceutical money. $33 billion made in the United States alone in pharmaceuticals last year. The profit line on a vaccine is 100%. Did you know that? There is no going back to get your money back after a vaccine. There is no complaining to the customer service rep. It's 100% profit. Now, those bigger companies like Johnson & Johnson, Pfizer, and all of these gigantic pharmaceuticals that have relationships with the Food and Drug Administration, the WHO, lobbyists, and people who pay a lot of money to make sure that their drugs get approved, are all in bed together. You call it a cabal. But that cabal extends beyond just metal. At the end of the day, it's all about money. Anybody who proposes anything that goes against the status quo, you're right, they are eliminated. You have to remember that when a certain African leader said he would no longer traffic in the US dollar, that he would begin to traffic in a new currency that was put together by some African countries, they were quick to label him a terrorist. They invaded his country, destroyed it, decimated it, and executed him. As a matter of fact, they've done that to the last 4 or 5 leaders who decided they didn't want to traffic in US dollars anymore. So again, another case of someone's interfering with the profiting of the US dollar, this time in the vaccine program. I told you all last year, there are a lot of agendas at play here. Now here we are in 2021, and how many of you all are staring in the mirror saying he was right? You can say whatever else you want, but he was right. When the Most High gives you a message and you give it to the people, and then the people don't believe the message, that's not your fault, and that's not the fault of the Most High. That's their fault, because it is written. The watchman on the wall. If the watchman on the wall gives you the warning and you fail to heed it, then that's your problem. But if the watchman on the wall doesn't give you the message, then it's not your fault, it's his. Y'all got the message. Now you're seeing it come into fruition. Now all of a sudden you see what I was telling you, that they're going to push this program. Because there's a lot of other agendas at work. ID chipping is at work. Social tracing is at work. Vaccination and using you as a guinea pig to try to find out some type of cure for what's killing them. It's all happening right now, and it's driven by money. Ask yourself this question. Why would someone who is a billionaire in computers have any say-so in medical matters of the world? Because money is what's driving these puppet regimes you talk about in Africa. They're in their pockets. Money is a powerful god to tear yourself away from. It's the money, and it's not just in the medical. The WHO is just another piece in the wheel. It's tied into so many other practices, but it is the money that is driving these people to turn on their own people.
Wow. Moving to the continent, since we opened up the conversation of the continent of Africa. So what is your take about the entire system, the political system? Because most of the political system over there is a copy of the French political system, is a copy of the British political system, is a copy of the white American political system. Then they pretty much got them on the pocket just so they can then control the resources. Do you reckon we have to really build? NFAC is also focused on that, to really trying to build a relationship with the African governments, because at the end of the day, you're talking about the ethno-states. So do you reckon it's part of the program of NFAC too, is to having the dialogue with the African government? Because Brother Malcolm tried. Since Brother Malcolm tried, they were scared. So it seems like they just want people to stay in America. They just want people to stay in the UK. Once we begin to move to the continent, then they feel like, oh, who are they coming here? So it seems like they just want us in diaspora to stay here, not to really go there. And they paint Africa as evil, everything bad, starving children. Meanwhile, they are there controlling the resources. What is your take about the African politics system?
First, to answer your question, no, it is not the role of the NFAC to engage in conversations with governments in the hopes of forming an ethno-state. That wouldn't work. It didn't work for Brother Malcolm, and I learned my lessons a long time ago by studying him. I've never stated that. That is not our goal. The purpose of the NFAC long term would become the military backbone of the ethno-state. Long-term goals and short-term goals, external goals and internal goals are something that I've talked about all through 2020. The establishment of an ethno-state is not something that pops up overnight, nor would it be something that will come into fruition in most of our lifetimes. It is a long-term goal, and it was stated as such, but the process to get there does involve the utilization of the African Americans and their resources here in the United States to begin to build a core group that would then migrate to this new area to build out the infrastructure and to begin to stand up every facet of it as according to the master plan as detailed in The Destruction of Black Civilization by Chancellor Williams. If you haven't read that book, then you're totally clueless about why I'm doing what I'm doing You're totally clueless about why the NFAC needed to be created and what its ultimate goal is. And you're totally clueless about the methodologies that we would need to communicate and determine a course for us as a people. You have to put your head in that book. If your head is not in that book, then what I'm saying sounds just like what people said 40, 50, 60 years ago when I'm saying something totally different. Isn't it odd that the black people have a hard time figuring that out, but the white man that you saw on the MSNBC video had no problem distinguishing that these brothers are up to something different. These brothers are headed, they're actually on a whole nother mission. They didn't have no time seeing that. But our people, we like to equate things to things that happened in the past. Just like they said, well, you guys must be the Black Panthers. Why are you all so stuck in the past? Why can't you deal with the present right now? I'm pretty sure none of the brothers in the Panthers or the SLCC or any of those other organizations had people running up to them saying, oh, y'all must be the Underground Railroad again. Hell no. We something totally different. We dealing with a whole new set of circumstances. We understand our past and we learn from our past mistakes, but we also understand that we're dealing with the here and now so that we can map out a roadmap for the tomorrow. That's what this is all about. So an ethno-state is the ultimate goal. But a lot of people here that don't even know how to get to an ethno-state. They think the first thing we have to do is what you just said, Alpha, is pick up the phone and start talking to people who are operating in a carbon copy, bastardized model of democracy. I've taught this before. Most people don't realize that the Western model of government is nothing more than a perverted, backwards-ass version of African government structure. If you know anything about our culture before the Berlin Conference, before they carved up the motherland, before the year 1667, which was when the state of Virginia declared that all of us could be converted to slaves now, because it was written in the Bible. They bastardized our religion too and used it to enslave us. And now they use that same blueprint to put governments in place in Africa, and you think that those are the people that we have to have a discussion with? I'm going to tell you like this, and this is one thing that scares them. I'm just bold enough to say there is no talking to them. There is no using that model. There needs to be a complete destruction, eradication, elimination, and decimation of the entire system, and the rebuilding by the people as it was done before. But that scares the hell out of everybody, because it means you got to let go what you got right now to have a greater part of what we need to have later on.
Wow. So then talking about the military situation in the continent, they received training from the Russians. They received training from the Right America. They received training from the French government. They received training from the British government. They give them weapons. They give them a lot of munitions. So that's what they do. But at the same time, they still control the military. What is your stand in terms of military? The NFAC comes with different approach, different mindset. Help us to understand the military mindset that most of the African governments, they really don't understand. When we see NFAC, the way y'all move, the way you conduct yourself, it's totally different. Even you can check a lot of armies in Africa. You just see them completely disorganized. I've been to some of the countries over there, totally disorganized. But when you see the NFAC formation, totally different. Everybody on one accord. What got you that should I say military code that these leaders in Africa don't seem to understand?
First of all, I have a dog. And I've trained my dog to do a lot of stuff. That went right over everybody's head. Don't talk to me about these people being trained. Who trained them? Who were their masters? They're doing what they're told to do, as if they're being trained in the art of war like there's only one art. Don't you know that before they could infiltrate the motherland, they didn't have any tactics. There was no war college. They didn't have any ranking structure. They didn't have none of that. They were uncivilized barbarians. They called them the wild man from the north. Beware of the wild man. He swarms down from the hills and the mountains, bringing chaos. It wasn't some organized military fashion. You need to roll back and study some of the great black kings. You need to study Hannibal. You need to study Shaka Zulu. And you'll find out why they could never infiltrate the motherland, because of the tactics, because of the structure, because of the strategy. They had to study them, and then turn around and use our own tactics against us with the addition of one invention that we did not have. The gun. They called it the great equalizer. You see, today, what they do is they arm both sides and sit back and profit off of the war. That's why you got all these little mini wars going on right now. They got all these brand new weapons. Your master is never going to train you to overthrow him. There are no standing militaries in the continent of Africa that have their training that's not associated, supplied, or enhanced by the cabal of the United States, Europe, and all its associated partners. You would think that some of those black leaders would have amassed enough armament, missiles, guns, tanks, and everything else they can buy from the arms dealers to build up their own army, and then have them properly trained in the art of warfare. That's why they look unorganized, because they ain't gave them no real training. When you got U.S. soldiers who joint train with the Israeli commandos, when you got police officers who go to Israel to get trained on how to deal with Americans, and then you wonder why they treat us the way they do. You got somebody on Martin Luther King Boulevard handling you like you on the West Bank. You don't get any real training. But those of us who have taken the opportunity to serve in the U.S. military. And I can't stand people who ain't never served talking like they know what the military is about. But people in the military know what I'm talking about. It's not how you come in. Hell, it ain't even do what you do while you in. It's how you get out. Because some never make it out. And there's a mindset. There's a camaraderie. That same determination, that same energy, when you bought into all the bullshit about for the republic for which it stands, before you woke up, when you took an oath that you stood by to defend this country against all enemies, foreign and domestic, and obey the orders of those appointed over me, you took that same energy back to the house when you left and found out that you were nothing but still treated as a second-hand citizen who can be shot down in the back, and they say that you attacked them and they was in fear of their life. It means nothing. But the training stays with you. That mentality stays with you.
Wow.
It is people like that that you see in the NFAC. It is people like that people who have never served in the military come in and they copy and they learn, and we grow.
Wow.
The resources are there in the motherland, in the UK, and everywhere else for the diaspora to have a standing army. The problem is you all think military, and you look at what is being placed in front of you, not what you can grow yourself, which is exactly what I did with the NFAC.
So you mean to say if obviously one of the things we understand they never leave the motherland alone is because of the resources and they were afraid once Gaddafi said we're going back our money to according with our resources. So do you reckon they're really much afraid that one day, that's why they don't want to, they're preventing the rise of the leaders, of the outspoken leaders in Africa, even in diaspora, like yourself? Do you reckon they've learned that something? They kind of using the same tactic over and over again. Whoever rise up, and at times they're using people that look like has to do the job. Do you reckon we have to do a much better job as a people to really back our leaders, to say now we just because, for example, even Joe Magufuli, everybody pretty much left him alone. So the neighbor country, nobody, they were afraid to endorse him, to embrace him. What is your stand, Supreme Commander?
Again, it's the same thing I said, and I'll keep saying. We have to overcome our own fear. A lot of us talk tough, but we're afraid. For real. And we're not afraid because we're cowards. We're strong people. We're afraid because what has happened is there is another pandemic. Yes, there is. There's another pandemic that has infected the diaspora. Not just in the United States. I see it all around the world now. It is called the virus of individualism. We have all become individuals to the point where we don't believe that we belong to, associated with, or connected to anybody just by default. So we don't know if people gonna stand with us if things go south. So we're not about to stick our neck out there. Let me tell you something. Anytime somebody has stepped up and spoken on behalf of the people, that person gets shot. That's what used to happen. Nowadays, they got some other options for you. But nobody really wants to step into that spotlight, because if you do, you run the risk of either being exiled, killed, or you have your character assassinated, or jailed. Take your pick. But you're gonna get one of those because they've learned y'all ain't gonna do nothing about it. Ask yourself this question. Let's just ask hypothetically. If Martin Luther King was alive today, if the sniper had missed, and he was still here today, and y'all found out that they raided his home at 4 o'clock in the morning with a task force and took him into federal custody and trumped him up on some trumped up charges, just based on what y'all say about MLK today, y'all will burn the whole damn country down. Or would you? There go that fear I'm talking about. Because as individuals you say it, but as a race you won't display.
Wow. So obviously, understanding the whole political structure and the power that Africa in general, or the African people, let's talk globally now, the African people globally, because we were first everywhere in this planet. We were here everywhere. So the NFAC, it's not only in the UK, in the US no more. Now spreading across the overseas. Now spreading in Africa. Do you reckon, in terms of organizing ourselves, we are just completely disorganized, and we don't really understand our power? We don't really understand the power of unity? Regardless what your religion, or if you're lighter skin or darker skin, do you reckon in terms of power and unity, we're still lacking, we're still not missing, we're still not embracing the unity? Because what NFAC has been simply telling the people is boots on the ground, stand, defend yourself. So do you reckon it's really down to our people, and we at times we're the master of our own self-destruction? Supreme Commander?
I am happy. I'm happy to say, believe it or not, I can't say that. I have to say that I am, and I have to salute black people around the world, whether you know it or not. The reason that everybody's upset right now, the reason that they're rolling things back, is because in 2020 we woke up. As a people, we did wake up. We didn't wake all the way up, and everybody didn't wake up the same way everybody else woke up, but collectively, we woke up. So I would say that people don't seem to realize the waking up globally No matter how it happened, whether it happened while you were protesting, or whether it happened while you was watching let's say a Fat Soul Feelings or a Morning Metro, I don't know. But we woke up. That's a sign of unity. Period. We didn't have to have a big meeting about it. We didn't get on calls and say, now you wake up on Thursday and you wake up on Friday. We woke up collectively as a people. That's a sign of unity. We have to take credit. They don't want to give y'all credit for it. Why do you think all of these businesses are bending over backwards to try to show, even though it's painful, that they have diversity when they know they don't? Because they know that politically right now it is correct to say that because the black folks that woke up. It wasn't just George Floyd. It was the fact that we was popping up all over the place and we wasn't having it here. We wasn't having it over there. We wanted justice over here. Damn it. And we woke up collectively. That unity scared the world. So they're taking 2021 to put y'all back to sleep, and y'all don't seem to get it. Everything is designed to put everybody back to sleep. So I'm not going to let them take that from me. Everybody in the diaspora should be saluting themselves that, you know what we did do in 2020, at least we woke up so we can deal with the problem. At least we're not just talking about it no more. Now the boots on the ground piece, again, I hate to say it, but back in the day, if you remember, it's funny how they document the things they did, but we don't realize that they're also blueprints to what we can do. Because they keep these things in their history books in case they see themselves repeating it again, because they don't think anyone else would repeat them. Y'all know what a crusade is? You do, don't you? A crusade is when something starts at one end of the country and sweeps across the whole country without any warning. It's a crusade. It just swept across. There needs to be a crusade. But crusades have to be driven by something and led by someone. I know y'all have been individualized into this kumbaya mentality where y'all think we can all lock arms and sway our way to the promised land. It doesn't work that way. If that was the case, you wouldn't have to pray to Yah. If that was the case, there would be no God for you to pray to. If that was the case, matter of fact, you'd be praying to the committee. You be submitting your petitions for whatever you want in your life to be circulated around the committee. You are ignorant to the ancient scriptures and what they say about order and structure. You don't want to follow it, but you want the benefits of it. The diaspora, as far as being united, must unite here first. Then unite here second. The diaspora has a collective value of $2 trillion right now. So it needs to take what it has here and put it into here so that you can achieve what is here. Until you do that, then all you're doing is this right here. And there's a whole lot of that. You know how disheartening it is for me to hear and see black people celebrating their wealth while nothing has changed in our overall condition as a people? Do you know how silly you look? Do you know how unblack you look? You know how stupid you make us look as a people? But you know what? You're comfortable with that because you've been individualized to think as long as you're good, hey, everybody else on their own. But you keep seeing unity demonstrated in your face by every other race every day. The situation in the United States right now, how they galvanize to try to say there's no more anti-Asian this, no more anti-Asian that, and y'all sitting back like, hey, wait a minute. They got unified real quick. When y'all saw that boy go up there and kill all those people in that supermarket, and y'all know that had been one of us, they be having a verdict today. But they got unified. Control the narrative. Now, all of a sudden, again, we are presented with an opportunity to move down the path of unity, And that means stop turning a blind eye, leave your feelings outside, and do what you can. Everybody can't do the same thing, but you do what you can. But we all do it for the same reason. Another problem that we have, you talk about unity, Brother Alpha, is that too many people want to bring too much to the table at the same time. Then when you don't want to take on what they want to bring to the table, they want to attack the whole table. There's no unity there. I like the fact that some of us are very, very dark. I like the fact that some of us are very, very light. I like the fact that some of us are clean in the middle. I like that some of us live on that side of the earth and got different cultures in different ways. I like that. I like the variety in my people. That's what makes a matter of fact, we shouldn't call ourselves anything but the variety people. We the variety people. We're not the same old stale flavor where everybody look alike, talk alike, walk alike, dance alike, can't dance, ain't got no rhythm. I'm sorry. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Everybody look like cookie cutter. We don't want that. We want equality. We want respect. We want the latitude to do our own thing. What is so scary, and I'm gonna leave this, I'm gonna shut up on this. You know what scares them? And I'm gonna shake everybody up when I say this. You black people don't get it, do you? You rose to such a level of civilization that we can't even remember how to get back there. And they're afraid that if they leave us to our own devices, if we ever get the motherland back under our control with no foreign interest, if the brothers and sisters in the United States are repatriated the way that they should have been, or get their reparations the way they should, and get themselves together and get the financial backbone back that they had, and the political power that was backed by black money, if they ever get that back, they're afraid that that'll be a launching board, a jump board for us to rise as the civilization that we was before. And you know it's around the corner. Look, y'all, listen, let me explain something to y'all. And I really don't think I need to teach this to the world, but I'm going to simplify this. Never in human history has any group conquered a group and then they integrate. When you're conquered, you're either enslaved, you are killed, or you are, what's the other one? Or you're jailed. We were enslaved. Yeah. Whole groups of us have had those populations eliminated. They don't exist anymore. The pygmies. Genocide. Our riches are still being taken. The only difference is the head games are still being played where they get some of us to help. The robbery is still going on. The boundaries are still phony. The money is still fake. It's a monopoly game and they done made you play in it and they won't let you quit. So play the game, but play it correctly. Let me tell y'all something that's interesting. They're trying to do everything to take the steam out of everything that we might think about or doing as a people to move us ahead. The chapters that I now have across Africa that are still growing. The chapters across the UK that are still growing. People are wondering, why is this happening? Because people woke up. People yearn for structure. And people yearn for purpose. Because people are tired. They're tired of these systems. They're tired of the lies. They're tired of the hypocrisy. But most importantly, they're tired of the inequality. And again, I'm going to keep landing in the same place, whether you're talking NFAC, whether you're talking about integration, separation, whether you're talking about a cooperation between nations, whether you're talking about building the foundation of an ethno-state, you still have to start from a level of equality. And if you can't get equality, then upset the whole game board and reset.
Moving to the spiritual side, because it is important to understand the fight not only physically but it's spiritual, and to some extent that's one of the it's been about your message. It's about us embracing our ancestors, embracing our spirituality, because that what keeps us on the path, keep us on code. what is your take about the spiritual side that some of our brothers and sisters totally don't embrace it? And obviously the religious system kind of watered down everything. What is your take about the spiritual side, Grandmaster Jay?
Psalm 105:15 says, "Do not touch my anointed ones, do my prophets no harm." There's another scripture that everybody loves to spout. It is, "No weapons formed against me shall be able to prosper." People like to use those religious scriptures as if there's some form of a shield that's supposed to protect them. But the truth of the matter is, when I say that we were invaded, raped, robbed, and pillaged, people don't seem to realize that one of the things that they raped, robbed, and pillaged was our belief system, and replaced it, bastardized it. You know, I really have to say that Emperor Constantine was a magnificent piece of work. This Roman emperor is the one who rewrote or wrote the Bible as you know it. This is the one who moved our holy day of Sabbath to Sunday as an insult to our Creator. You have to understand that a lot of us, we exist in what we call spiritual confusion right now. Yes, it is true that we are fighting a spiritual battle, but most people aren't spiritually connected correctly, so they think or don't think that this battle affects them. I find it very interesting that you would breach that, my brother, because the one thing that nobody has the backbone, nor the stupidity to do is attack my teachings. No one. It hasn't happened, and I would invite anyone to attempt to try. The rebuke from Yah would be expeditious.
Wow. Brothers and sisters, you can see the show. It's live on everywhere, but we make sure you record it, because I've got the systems recording everything, because we're going to give it to you audio as well, just so you understand, and we're going to be uploaded on all our social network. But the most important thing is for us to embrace the message, understand the power of our elders and what they're doing. So talking about NFAC, focus on NFAC now, because we got a couple more minutes. About the NFAC, obviously, we understand that you shook the United States system completely. What's next for the NFAC? Obviously, we know you're not going to be disclosing all the planning, and we understand it. But what's the next on NFAC plate?
April the 10th, black on black formation, United Kingdom. That's all I'm talking about right now.
Wow. So, talking about formation, let's go back to why is important. Because some of our brothers and sisters, they don't really understand what formation is about. Could you be able to elaborate more the power of formation? Because I remember in these communist countries, even the in the schools, in the college, they bring in the children to do the formation, to go around the flag and then salute either the president or something. So this communist country, they understand the military, like for example Cuba, some of the African countries, they're really so much into this military movement, like Fidel Castro, Che Guevara, and obviously we understand that Fidel Castro support a lot of African countries, Che Guevara, all those countries. So help us to understand the power of formation.
This is the first time you ever going to hear me say this. I will not answer that question. I will not educate people on the power to speak to power. That's all I'm going to say. I will not answer that question.
Wow. So then
the reason I won't answer it is because I'm not about to give the blueprint to the enemies. That's why. If you know anything about the military, you know what a formation is. If you don't, you should go study. I'm not about to spoon feed people. If you understand one thing, understand this. The governments know what a formation is. Another military knows what a formation is and what it can be used for. That's all I'm going to say.
Wow.
The only thing you should be afraid of is whether or not the person who's in charge of the formation has the backbone to pull the trigger on it.
Brothers and sisters, Alpha Power all over the world, giving to you live here at Radio Diamond TV. Every single week, bringing to you the best of ourselves. Let's move a little bit outside in terms of our culture, because
we got 6 minutes.
Yes, we got a couple of minutes. Talking about the African culture, because a lot of people they don't seem to understand everything involved in culture. Culture is your identity. Culture is where you are bringing yourself in on code. Do you reckon some of our brothers and sisters all over the world, or even the European power structure, already understood, and that's why they destroy? They make us integrating to their standard of culture, and when we see in the African culture, we are seeing something that is negative, something is backwards. What is your stance about our culture, even in the United States? Brothers and sisters in the United States are embracing African culture in different reasons, but all belonging to our African culture. What is your stand? Even they copy our culture. What is your stand about the African culture?
I'm glad you asked me. I'm going to answer this real quick. I think that, first of all, that people need to understand that Western society has done such a great job at putting out a false image of African culture that that's the first thing we got to take out of our heads. Because every time the West shows Africa, it shows everybody, in villages, huts, and like they never evolved past that, which is not what Africa truly is. Then again, when you talk about culture, there is no one African culture. You're talking 55 different countries with sub-kingdoms and sub-tribes that have their own ways, their own food, their own dances, their own histories. So unless you are very specific about what piece of the culture you're talking about, people can't sit here and say African culture collectively. What we can do, and I will say this, and everybody needs to do this. I know I've done it. Everybody needs to do it. If you don't live on the continent of the motherland, you need to undertake an effort to learn about the motherland by reaching out to those in the motherland or researching those countries yourself. And don't believe this narrative that they keep showing you on the idiot box in the media that Africa's some backwards, dark continent. It is not. The reason that a lot of people have these false perceptions about the culture of Africa is because of what the white man told. The only way that the black man outside of Africa can truly learn and appreciate the culture of what's in Africa is to study it himself. I encourage everybody to do that. I also encourage Africans to do the same thing about black Americans. Don't believe what the white man tells you while you on your way over here for a better opportunity, and they have the audacity to get over here and look down on your brothers and sisters when you don't know anything about them.
Brothers, you understand the game. So make sure you study culture. That will give you the reason of why you're fighting for. So, couple more minutes. Talking about the freedom of movement. They literally shut down countries, shut down borders. Because, as you said, rightfully so, 2020, 2019, brothers and sisters were moving all over. They were going back to Africa. They invested in for example, Ghana. The African brothers in America, they returned back to their lands. You know what I'm talking about? Their land, our land. So I don't like to call somebody's land our land. They invest billions in Ghana economy. They invest billions in Gambia economy. Brothers and sisters in the United States, brothers and sisters in the UK. Do you reckon this powers, or the so-called powers, the Western power, is also one of the reasons they really realize we better tell this puppet to shut down the country, because these Negroes, they're moving too much over here. We want to be by ourselves, controlling the gold and the diamonds. Now they're coming up here. Then they're going to start waking up the village, the chiefs, and we're in trouble. What is your take about the freedom of this international movement? So that's why I see, like, even the NFAC is stepping up all over the world now. So what is your take about the freedom of movement, boots on the ground?
The definition of a police state. A police state is a government that exercises power through the power of the police force. Originally, a police state was a state regulated by a civil administration. But right now, in today's world, police states are totalitarian state controlled by a political police force that secretly supervises the citizens' activities. That's the definition. They use the virus to scare you. They use the virus to control you. Now that they have you running from the boogeyman, they now have the ability to control your movements. You keep talking about locking people down. You keep talking about what they do. But what people fail to realize is, and I've said this once before, the only reason any of this works is because you go along with it. The moment everyone stops going along with it, it breaks down. There is no restriction or freedom of movement. Have you all forgotten? The very first time that the NFAC came out was in the middle of quarantine. We said, the hell with the quarantine. We got bigger problems. You see, this system only works as long as you play along with it. And y'all been playing along just fine because they done scared you with the bogeyman. And now to make sure that the bogeyman does continue to exist, they want to put it in your arm so they can continue to control you. See, the first 10 years of the 21st century, they controlled you with the bogeyman of terrorism. Remember that started off 2001. Boom, here they come. They will be running planes in the walls and buildings, and everybody's a terrorist. And whoa, they scared the shit out of y'all and controlled you. But then they got old. It wasn't working though. You know, won't nobody, where the terrorist acts at? Won't nothing happen. So now they move to the next game. And the next game is now to control you with the fear of the virus. The fear that you could be next. The fear that if you don't go along with the program, you're a threat to everybody else and y'all playing along right into their hands. We got a president that won't play along. We got a place where people can go, where they might not have to be vaccinated. We got a place where they're using what Yah created, that he gave us fruits and roots and vegetables to heal ourselves. We got a president that's doing that. We got to get rid of him. If y'all don't think that the globe is under a police state right now you wonder what all those top secret meetings was. Oh, it's the G7. They got to have a reason to explain why they all there. So what they do, they give it some name. It's an economic conference. Why are you having an economic conference when ain't nothing changed on the economic scene? Are there new trade routes? Is there a new currency being brought online? Is there some new ethno state that done popped up with a resource that we got to do business with? No. Y'all having meetings about how you gonna control everybody. And now y'all being controlled. There is no lockdown. There is a voluntary lockdown. If everybody on earth said the hell with this right now and just came outside, pitchforks, baseball bats, whatever the hell you had, and started acting a goddamn fool. Oh, the system is broken down. Let's martial law now. Again, not what I say, but what I do. If I cannot integrate you unequally, then I will eliminate you. But y'all don't have to believe nothing I say. There's people out there already don't believe a word that I say. They think they know better. Those are the same people that was beating on the door when the floods came for Noah and his army. That's my answer. That's my time. It's been a pleasure hanging out with you all on Black Diamond TV, radio. Please share this with your friends. You know you don't see me on social media no more. I got to go and be on TV and radio now because my First Amendment rights on social media are still curtailed by the U.S. government. But I did want to thank you for your time, my brother. April the 10th, Black on Black Formation, United Kingdom. We already know what we're about to put together. I'm looking forward to this. At the end of the day, back in the United States, nothing's changed. Our masters ain't changed. Our problems haven't changed. It's just another day. The question then comes back to, what are you more worried about? Yourself or your people? And are you going to open your eyes and get over your fear and realize that true integration is equality built in? But the only thing you're doing is participating in your own assimilation, which leads to further racial assassination. I bid you all peace. I bid you all blessings. And I bid you all something that I've never done before, and that is global love. Bid you all global love. If you can't learn to love each other, then stop trying to love everybody else, because it's embarrassing. But I got love for all of you all, unconditionally. Shalom.
Thank you so much, Supreme Commander, for this amazing message. As you can see, brothers and sisters, is extremely busy, so he had to go. But we talked with the Supreme Commander of the NFAC, Grandmaster Jay. So I hope you support the message. Just one more thing, a last message to the brothers and sisters in the UK. Obviously, they're going to be coming out, different organizations, different communities. Hopefully, they're going to show up on the 10th of April, Saturday in London. Just a direct message real quick before I let you go. Just a direct message to them, to the people here in the UK.
It's not over. That's the message. It's not over. And you're not alone. It's not over. And you're not alone. But you'll never find out who's with you unless you open your mouth. One last thing. Contrary to popular belief, my legal troubles are not over. So if anyone has told you that, it's not over. I got a long way to go. You should know it's not over because you don't see me on social media. We have to learn to stop being afraid of progress, no matter how painful it may look. Look out for each other. Look out for your families. Look out for your city. Look out for your kind. There's nothing racist about loving your own people. It is the hatred that makes you a racist. That's all I have for you right now, because my message is very simple. I'm not going to keep telling y'all to love each other. Y'all got that down. But you got to start standing together. And you can't pick and choose about what you want to stand for. If that's the case, just go on ahead and wave a flag and let us know you're the enemy. That way we ain't got to dig you up and root you out. But that's another thing that's going on amongst our people right now. Oh, and one more thing. Whenever someone tells you something, always ask yourself, how does this profit me? Because if it does nothing but tear you down or make you stagnant, then you're staring the enemy right in the face. Much love.
Wow.
Peace and peace.
Wow. So as you hear, my brother, NFAC, and again, if you want to be part of NFAC, right? So somebody send us the email. If you want to be part of NFAC, there's an email right there, as you can see, in the UK. Just email. It's there. NFACUK at blacknfac.com. I will repeat. NFACUK at blacknfac.com. Drop the email. Just drop the email. Maybe if you're in France or Portugal or in Belgium, drop the email to this one over here. And they be a part of this great organization. And remember, NFAC is also a coalition with different organizations as well. The New Black Panther Party of Self-Defense. There's different organizations. But obviously, support the Supreme Commander. Because have you seen the GoFundMe going on over there? Still drop your little pledge, your little contribution. That's for the family. It's not like the Black Lives Matter, the money going for the Republican Democrats, and you know what I'm talking about. We're going to have Black Lives Matter soon to really breaking it down. Where is our money? Because you're talking on our behalf, so where is our money? We need to know. We need the full explanation. So we can just having my people running around without knowing where the money going to. So if we get that money, give to those organizations who are actually doing the work. The NFAC doing the work, boots on the ground. Support the real ones. Alpha Quabo, aka Show. Share the message all over the world. Remember, they send waves to take us down from the social network, but we still audibly recording everything. And obviously, you can hear audibly wherever you are in the UK. That's the most important thing. And all over the world on the website. Alpha Quabo, we're signing out. Every single week, bringing to you the best of ourselves, bringing to you love, aka show. I'm the spiritual son of Zinga, and we're going to be closing with this outro. Thank you so much.